Ah, the 1920s. A time of flappers and jazz, of bathtub gin and Charleston dances. The era was a whirlwind of excitement and change, a period where the old world met the new in a spectacular clash of culture and innovation. A time when the world, recovering from a beastly war, decided to throw a party. And what a party it was. The very air crackled with a vibrant energy, a youthful exuberance that permeated everything, even the language. The streets were alive with the sounds of celebration, and every corner seemed to hide a new adventure. Yes, old boy, the words and phrases of the time were as colourful and lively as the people who used them, painting a vivid picture of an era that was anything but dull. Imagine, if you will, a smoky speakeasy, hidden away from the prying eyes of the law, where the jazz was hot and the drinks were cold. The murmur of conversation punctuated by the clinking of glasses and the sultry wail of a saxophone. The atmosphere was electric, charged with the thrill of secrecy and the joy of newfound freedom. Around you, folks are togged to the bricks in their finest threads, ready to kick up a rumpus and shake a leg till dawn. This colourful slang wasn't your grandmother's English, mind you. It was a language that had evolved, shedding the formality of the past in favour of something more vibrant and alive. This was a language born of rebellion. So, come along, dear reader, as we dust off our dictionaries and delve into the delightful lexicon of the Jazz Age. Now, let's start with a couple of corkers, shall we? These phrases are not just words, they are windows into a vibrant, exuberant era. The bee's knees and the cat's meow phrases so wonderfully bizarre, so delightfully nonsensical, that they could only have been born in the roaring 20s. To declare something the bee's knees or the cat's meow was to pronounce it absolutely top-notch, the absolute pinnacle of excellence. It was a way to celebrate the extraordinary in the most whimsical manner possible. Picture a young flapper, her dress shimmering with beads, declaring the latest Gershwin tune, the cat's meow. She embodies the spirit of the age, carefree, bold and full of life. Or a dapper gent, cigarette holder in hand, praising his new roadster as the bee's knees. His pride in his new possession is evident. These phrases, my dear boy, were the highest form of praise, a verbal high five in an era where enthusiasm reigned supreme. But why bee's knees? What made these tiny joints so special? Why cat's meows? Ah, that's where the fun lies. Think of it as a linguistic safari, a way to inject a bit of whimsy and personality into everyday conversation. It was a true reflection of the Roaring Twenties spirit. Of course, not all Jazz Age slang was about giddy exuberance. Some terms like the real McCoy and giggle water offered a glimpse into the realities of the time. Realities that often involved a healthy dose of deception and a thirst for illicit thrills. The term real McCoy, for instance, spoke to a world awash in bootleggers and counterfeit goods. To declare something the real McCoy was to assure its authenticity, to guarantee that it wasn't some watered-down swill masquerading as the good stuff. It was a mark of trust, a verbal handshake in a world where appearances could be deceiving. And then there was giggle water, a delightfully euphemistic term for what we now know as alcoholic beverages. Ah, prohibition. It was a time when the consumption of alcohol was strictly forbidden, driving it underground and into the hands of enterprising individuals who were more than happy to meet the public's demand for a stiff drink. Speaking of those enterprising individuals, one couldn't navigate the world of 1920s slang without encountering the big cheese himself. The person who stood out in any crowd, commanding attention and respect. The head honcho, the top dog, the man in charge. These were the movers and shakers, the ones who made things happen, whether in the boardroom or the back room. And what did this big cheese likely traffic in? Why, hooch, of course. The lifeblood of the underground party scene. That's right, our next slang term takes us right back to the world of clandestine saloons and bathtub distilleries. These hidden spots were the heart of the Prohibition-era nightlife. Hooch was a catch-all term for any and all forms of illicit liquor, the kind that flowed freely at speakeasies and fueled countless jazz-age parties. It was the forbidden fruit that everyone craved. This was the world of the big cheeses and their bootlegged hooch, a world that still fascinates us today. Now, navigating this world of flappers, booze and clandestine gatherings required a certain savvy, a knack for separating the genuine from the phony. That's where our next slang term comes in, on the level. To declare someone or something on the level was to vouch for their honesty and trustworthiness. It was a way of saying, this is on the up and up, old sport. You can trust this information, person or situation. In a world where deception was rife, being on the level was a valuable commodity indeed. Whether or not this statement held any truth, of course, was another matter entirely. And this isn't all of it, folks. Only an overview of the rebellious, roaring 20s, where language was as jazzy as the music and just as much fun. If you enjoyed this overview, research more on your own to learn about this wonderful era. Maybe add a little vintage flair to your vocab. Remember these phrases and bring a bit of the 1920s back to life. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay the cat's meow. We'll see you in the next video.